We're going to start a series of panels and presentations from the most important people I can think of. And those are people that have experience in using our technology. And what we thought we should start with is the concept of leadership. How do you get started? How, in fact, do you go about bringing this new technology that we've heard all about yesterday and this morning? How can we put this technology to use? And what we've believed from meeting a lot of the leadership that's associated with Amelia and our products and services is very simple. It's all about leadership. So today, we've assembled a very august panel, shall we call them. On this side, whatever arm that is.
That'd be the left arm.
That'd be left.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. He's always so helpful. We have Tom DiCarlo. Tom is the Managing Director and Head of Client Services at UBS. Next to him is Mike Brady, who's the Global Chief Technology Officer at AIG. Next is Jean Hill, who currently is the Managing Director at Alvarez and Marsal, but she brings some 25 years of experience from technology leadership in a number of financial services companies. And then last but not least, Stefan Visser is here with me. And we've chosen him because he has the most unique title. And I'm convinced that he just chose the title in order to be a leader. Here it is. You ready? You all aspire to have this title. Ready? He is the Digital Cooperation Catalyst. I think he covered all of those in that. So he's at VGZ, the largest insurance company.
Second largest.
Oh, come on, boast now, it's first, come on.
I've got to be honest.
All right, we'll start right there being honest. This is going to be difficult. He is at VGZ,
Yep.
and I've asked, since he has the most creative title I've ever heard, I've asked Stefan to just tell us a little bit about, so how did you get AI introduced into the company and begin this journey?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the title Digital Corporation Catalyst comes from my company has put a group together to really make the transition from a regular insurance company to become the digital insurance company of the future. And we do that by looking at new technology out there and trying to push forward the technology by using it to with small experiments starting there and then scale up and scale out to do it eventually in production if we're able to. And that's the same thing we've been doing with Amelia. We started really small with a small experiment, and we moved forward by adding interfaces, by using employees to test it out, by using customers to test it out. And as of this week, we're live in production.
Well, excellent, excellent. So next I'm going to go to Mike because I'd like to keep a common theme of leadership within the companies, and then I'm going to talk about how Jean assists people like yourselves. So Mike, AIG is not an easy place, as we know, going through a lot of changes, pretty exciting changes in terms of management leadership. How have you found navigating and introducing all of this new technology?
I think it goes to the companies we saw on Edwin's slide. You had Walmart, a big respectable company, trading at half their market or revenue. And then you had West Coast companies like Uber and Amazon doing incredibly well. So I came here and joined AIG 2 years ago after 6.5 years in Silicon Valley. And I think for every one of us here in this room today, there's a little bit of that West Coast IT that can make a world of difference in a big traditional East Coast or more traditional company.
We just have to wear pastel colors and no ties, right?
And office dogs with Macs.
Yes, we need those as well. Okay, so it's a culture change. We'll work on it. Tom, how about yourself? Now at UBS, again, not an easy company to navigate, lots of different aspects, obviously a financial powerhouse. How do you bring this new technology into that environment?
Sure. So education primarily. It's new bleeding edge technology. So getting folks to understand the difference between a bot and artificial intelligence was just the beginning. In the role that I play, from an operational perspective, we're always looking for continuous improvement around quality, around client experience, and operating expense, and driving those initiatives through the organization, socializing with partners is exactly the way we began the journey.
So one of the things we talked about is technology, and the adoption of technology in your company is not a transformation. There's more that has to go on. And Gene, I'd ask Gene to kind of talk a little bit from your consultative perch and the way you come alongside of these potential leaders. How do you help them really drive this kind of innovation?
So the first thing is we talk about is it really shouldn't be thought of as a tech project. So, you know, in the past, if you were putting in massive technology, you'd have to build a huge business case, lots of CapEx, and this you really need to be thinking about more as, I'm going to go hire 3 people. I'm going to go to a different college, a different university, look for a different skill set, and that the importance is speed and execution. So get it up and running, do it small, get it used in, get your company to learn how to use it, get your users to learn how to use it. More importantly, get the leader that you're supporting to understand where its pitfalls are and where its strengths are. But speed of execution and not a tech project, but more thinking of hiring digital resources is how we go about it.
If we follow up on that, Mike, we talked about everybody always comes around and says, well, I have to make a business case for this effort. And after 3 years of building your business case, perhaps you can get it through the organization. Do we have time for these kind of elaborate, long-winded business cases? How did you kind of attack that environment?
And as we heard from Gene, and we attacked this together, exactly as Chayton described yesterday, this is about speed first and foremost. And when you're trying to introduce speed into traditional companies, you really, for us, we start small. A small pilot, not a lot of money, not a lot of people, keep it to fewer than 10 people, move quickly with a business sponsor, and then learn together. And what we learned is that with a good team, many of whom are here, is from 0 to 3 months, we can train Amelia, we can train it almost as easy as Ergen trained from Wiki, and start driving business output. All you need is that one short, quick win, and it grows from there.
But it wouldn't be as easzy as training Ergen. That's another subject altogether.
Unless we have
That's
them
your
type in
problem.
Turkish.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll take on that challenge. Tom, how about yourself?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Mike. We took the approach of using a complex business challenge within the organization. We could have easily taught Amelia how to change, a number one driver into the contact center is password reset. We could have easily taught her to change a password. But what we wanted to do was really focus in on a complex inquiry, retirement death distribution document requirements, build a team of cheerleaders, right? A small team of CSAs from the branch who would leverage the application and work together in training and tuning Amelia to perfection. Up very quickly, a lot of positive feedback, and then the assistance by IPsoft in helping me generate that interest through video across the entire organization.
So if we follow this theme, and all of you, 3 have commented, we'll come back to Stefan, and I think of you in this title of Catalyst. Catalyst can't be a really long thing. I think back to my high school science. I think a catalyst starts a level of activity. So in your role, how are you finding your ability to really bring that change, and are you hitting any impediments, we'll call them?
Yeah, well, I think it has to do a lot with how your state of mind is. As a catalyst, you should always look forward, or always try to push forward. And there will be a lot of barriers in your organization, as there were in mine, and you have to push forward to get further. One of the examples was, of course, if you want Amelia to give personalized answers, you need data from your back office to be able to do that. And that meant we had to build interfaces to all those systems. And then you have to rely on all the other teams in your organization to be able to do that. So being a catalyst means pushing forward, giving a lot of presentations, being open and transparent about what your goal is, and really try to push your whole organization forward.
So being leaders, it's often important that you have followers, right? How do you build a loyal team to really kind of follow this groundbreaking effort that you're making? Tom, how did that happen? Did you handpick people that you thought could really grasp this technology, follow, and build this team inside of UBS?
So outside of the partnership that we have with the IT group, it was building job security and confidence at the frontline subject matter experts, because those are the folks that we needed to leverage in order to train Amelia on the specific inquiry types that were coming in. Folks believe that as soon as you try to begin to introduce technology, that it's going to eliminate roles, and we have a different approach to that. Our approach is through attrition and mobility and building stronger teams, and leveraging that to really have the folks. You're always going to need people, right? You're always going to need to improve, need to tune, need to tweak, and building smaller teams of subject matter experts that work hand in hand in concert with Amelia is the direction that we went in.
So Mike, in your case, you have the vision, you've had the vision in terms of IP Center and virtual engineers and IT management. Now you've broached over into this business process environment. How did you find the people? Were they the same people that you're using in the IT environment? Were they more the subject matter expert? How did you go about looking at building that team?
And it really comes down to, again, small groups, the same way an Uber or an Amazon gets work done versus a big traditional company, cross-functional. A couple of people who can learn quickly, who understand, or with IPsoft learn the tech, a couple of people who understand the business process. But at the end of the day, it's all about allowing them to imagine and approaching it differently, as opposed to going in with a traditional monolithic business case and trying to prove an outcome that's uncertain. The quicker we learn, the quicker we get benefit, the happier our end clients are.
Stefan, your experience, similar to what they've talked about?
Yeah, this is really important to start a learning curve early on, to put it out there, to get feedback from colleagues at first, but customers second, to really start improving what you're doing. And you have to look at the user interface, you have to look at the texts you use, you have to look at the whole picture and to improve everywhere.
So Gene, maybe a tough question because you found Mike and he's clearly been a great leader and partner in your efforts. What do you look for in a leader that can really make this kind of transformation in a company?
Do not start from when we worked together in the late 90s.
What you're really looking for is an evangelist that understands that they're going to take risks, that they're going to have the air cover or be able to give the air cover. And you start small. So you set it up as it's a win-win. So either you try it and you can say it's not ready yet, because you have to get a quick win in your organization. So it's not good enough to say, oh, well, it's working at UBS, because they're going to say, well, my bank is different, or our regulator is different, and some other thing. So you have to find someone that's willing to identify something small enough but impactful enough that you will get a success within that organization. And then everything that they all said about building the teams and having people jump on the bandwagon and learning all goes through. But from a leader perspective, and you make it a small enough dollar amount that it's going to fly under the radar, and it's within your own budget, it's within your own control. Drink your own champagne. Don't go try to do it for another business unit. Do it within yours. Show that it can be successful, and then you get the momentum that you're looking for.
So you must supply champagne in order to work with these people.
Sounds so much better than eat your own dog food.
Yes, it does. You've elevated the conversation. I'm very happy. This is excellent. This is excellent. So we'll leave you with one question to each, and that is, leaders, as we look upon them, also understand failure, right? How do I go from, gee, I made a mistake, that was the wrong direction, I need to come back from that, I need to drive in this direction. Are there things, Tom, that you've encountered in this process that you would say, that was a mistake, shouldn't have gone there, I would do it differently now? Is there some things in your mind that, hey, if I had to do over again, this is how I might proceed?
Outside of having Ergen present and go over?
Ergen is taking it on the chin,
That's okay.
and we just need to know we love the guy. But yes,
So
we all agree.
Absolutely. I think we thought we were prepared as we began to implement the proof of concept pilot with documentation, training material, and flowcharts. But when it comes down to it, I don't think we were. We had some work to do internal in refreshing documentation and aligning to the business case that we outlined. And I think we're very well prepared for phase 2 of this going live, in a production environment.
Mike?
And when you're introducing innovation, a venture capitalist will say fail fast. We take the opposite approach. We look for win fast. But I think as Gene described, that means pick a small group, similar to what Jennifer is doing at CSFB, to start in the service desk, then bring it to client-facing desks, and then client-facing. Pick a small group, celebrate your wins, but set out to learn. Every single week, every month, what did we learn? How do we know? And with that as your objective, success will follow.
Yeah, I'll call it innovation education, right? I'm thinking about how to really progress. I need to understand what steps I can take, can't take, and what I learned from that process. Excellent, excellent. Gene, how about yourself?
Really not thinking about it as a tech project. I think you had too many people, and since it starts within the technology organizations in many, they want to write up their functional specs and then go through, and they're looking at how to code it and how to script it, and it's more important to get the wins and get the technology being used. So whether it's leveraging IPsoft or leveraging other people who have done it, unlike other technology where you really want to train your own team, you want to be self-sufficient the day you go live, on this one it's more about whether fail fast or success fast, get it out there faster, leverage other partners, think of it differently. Think of it when you hire new employees, you automatically think to bring in a training company to go through and do it. Think that way rather than thinking I have to hire all the developers myself.
Great, thank you. And Stefan, just from your vantage point.
Yeah, well, when we started out, we were really focused on proving what Amelia could do in our business. So what we ended up with was quite large flows with a lot of text in there, and we didn't look at the maintainability of it. So basically what we said after 3 months is let's throw it all away and start anew by building new modular flows, reusing a lot of it, pushing the text there are in the flows to the databases, get it out of there. And now we have a really maintainable system and we can go to the next level. So if we had to do it again, we could have skipped 3 months in development there. But it's learning money.
But I think, again, in innovation, what we'll always find is there will be some mistakes that will be, well, I thought I was going to do it this way. Turns out it's better to do it this way. Yeah. Again, element of leadership is understanding where you are in that process, when to make that change. Yeah. So we appreciate it.
I think good leaders call it a pivot. Bad leaders call it a failure.
Excellent, excellent. Well, here's what I would say to you. Any of you that would like to have the Digital Cooperation Catalyst title, Stefan has trademarked that, so you need to write and ask for permission. But I just want to make sure we thank our 4 incredibly talented panelists today for sharing with us their experience. How about giving them a round of applause? Thank you.